Hello, everyone. This is our the final one we're doing. Maybe not the final one you're watching, but this is the Midwest. One of the strongest. The bracket, Wichita.
Probably the strongest region
over
of the
south
bracket.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Wichita State is in this one, as well as Kentucky, Kansas State, St. Louis, NC State, Xavier. Both playing games are into this bracket. And I think both play-in games are interesting.
Good. Yeah, we'll talk about those in a second.
Louisville, Manhattan, UMass versus the winner of Iowa, Tennessee, Duke versus Mercer, Texas versus Arizona State, and then Michigan versus Wofford. I have Wichita State versus Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I have NC State beating Xavier and then beating St. Louis. I think they came on strong. They're so talented. St. Louis is overrated. They played a weak schedule. I think that 5-12 upset is going to happen. And I think the winner of that team will play Louisville. I think Louisville's not going to have any trouble.
I think I might have St. Louis over NC State. NC State is playing very well. They barely lost to Duke, or was it in the?
They beat Syracuse.
Yeah, and they beat Syracuse in the ACC tournament. And they barely lost to Duke. I think they're playing very well right now. But the St. Louis team, they've been good all year. They lost to Wichita State earlier in the year, right?
Very early in the year.
Wichita
State played.
I know they want to play inspired in this NCAA tournament just because they lost their coach last year, I think, and they're all year I've been hearing stories, like inspirational stories about them, like
this is their time.
Yeah, this is their time playing for their recent coach. And I watched them play a little bit. I like the way they're made up, and I like their coaching. I just think it's going to be St. Louis coming out of there.
And then against Louisville, you don't see Louisville having any trouble.
Louisville's going to have no problem. They've been one of the best teams in the nation.
Russ Smith.
Yeah.
Russ Smith.
Montreal Harrell.
Yeah.
I mean that's their key right there. I think he's balling right now.
Yeah. What about
this Massachusetts Iowa Tennessee game is probably the best case for an upset I can make. Maybe in the whole tournament. In fact,
Iowa and Tennessee will probably get picked more than UMass.
Oh yeah. I think Tennessee will ultimately. Iowa they've been in the top 25 in and out throughout the year. But this Tennessee team, they're getting good at the right time.
And they played Florida till the final.
Florida
final
very tough, and I think they're going to ultimately beat Iowa and then beat this Massachusetts team.
And I saw a stat that said their last 6 games, they've only allowed one team to get over 50 points. 4 of those 6 teams scored a season low against Tennessee. I mean, their defense is locked in at the right time, and
don't sleep on them beating Duke. I think even
because they are huge down low.
They are big down low, and Duke's Achilles heel
is Jabari Parker plays 5.
Jabari Parker plays the 5.
Rodney Hood plays 4.
He's probably going to play 4 in the NBA. I mean, he plays the 5.
This Tennessee Duke game, if Tennessee can get through, I think Tennessee has a lot higher chance of losing to Iowa than they do UMass. But if Tennessee gets through UMass, they have a very, very good chance of beating Duke. Yes. Coach K, you got to give him some credit.
Yes.
But Plumlee is going to have to step up, and I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. I think
he's just not good enough.
They're right for an upset.
It's in the Sweet 16.
But I think Jabari Parker. I mean, seeing him battle at the end of this that ACC championship game, he struggled in the first half. And then he just came out in the second half and balled. He can just turn it on sometimes, and I will never count them out when Jabari Parker's on their team. But at the same time, with him playing the 5, I think I might have in my official bracket Tennessee upsetting Duke.
I might too, and that's one of the toughest.
It's a really tough call.
One of the toughest games one of the toughest games. That's almost as tough as Wichita State, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky has talent all over the place. They have talent coming out of John Calipari's fingertips. I mean, they have anything. The Harrison twins are playing well at the right time. Guard play.
Yeah, they've just been slowly developing over the years.
And they're getting the most minutes out of everybody, and they're getting the most focus on that team, and that's important. Julius Randle's less part of the offense. I think that's a big deal. But this Wichita State team is for real. This Wichita State team knows what they're doing, and they did not win a close game. They don't know what it's like to play close. So I think that could come to bite them in the butt. but I just think that this Kentucky team is too immature and not cohesive enough yet for Wichita State. I think if we saw them come play together about 5 or 6 games before the regular season ended, then they wouldn't have an 8 seed. But I think that Wichita State is just going to be a little bit too much for them.
I agree. I sort of agree. I think.
Kentucky Louisville matchup.
The problem is,
mouth-watering.
I think the problem is Kentucky, just the raw talent of Kentucky versus the guys on Wichita State. I think obviously you have so much more talent on Kentucky, and sometimes that can just win you games. And
especially in the tournament.
Especially in the tournament, sometimes talent can just win you games. This is I think a highly debated pick for a lot of people, whether they're going to go with Wichita State or Kentucky. I think I'm sort of with you. I think Wichita State has a chip on their shoulder. They want to get back there to the Final Four.
And I think this draw, originally everyone's like, oh my God, they're going after Wichita State. I think this draw is perfect for the way Wichita State handles themselves. They've got a chip on their shoulder. They're they're disrespected. You know that their coach is going to say, look at what this committee's doing to us. They don't want us to get to the Final Four again. Let's prove them wrong. And all those players are going to buy in. Cleanthony Early, Ron Baker are pro prospects. In a very heavy draft, they will get drafted. I just can't see them losing to Kentucky. I can see them losing to a very hot Louisville team.
And
I have them losing to a very hot Louisville team because if they also lose to Kentucky, I don't have Kentucky beat anywhere close to beating Louisville. But I have Louisville versus Duke. Now, we haven't talked about Michigan. You don't see them getting upset by Texas or Arizona State, do you?
Yeah, I think Arizona State is going to come out of there.
I have Texas right now.
Jahi Carson, whatever his name is.
Score.
Yeah, he's just a scorer.
Jackson Love with scores.
Yeah, I love scores, love the scoring guards.
Texas has been notching up their defense lately. They've been averaging 10 points less in the last month than they have the whole season.
This is just one of those picks. I mean, I'm going to go with Arizona State just because I don't think it really matters all that much because Michigan either way is going to win. I don't think they're going to have much problem with Texas or Arizona State.
So if Tennessee does beat Duke, do you have Michigan beating Tennessee?
I think I would have Michigan beating Tennessee.
I think that would be a very interesting game because I think Tennessee's strength is down low, and I think that I think Michigan could just outscore them. I don't think Tennessee has the scores, and I think that's going to be their problem against Duke too. You know, they're playing defense. They might hold them to 60, but I don't think they can score more than 50. Which is why I have Duke versus Michigan, and that Duke-Michigan game is going to be great. But if Mitch McGarry was there, it wouldn't even be.
We can't talk about Mitch McGarry being there. That just depresses me too much. They would be national championship favorite for me, I think.
But right now, I have Duke over Michigan. That might change. I've gone back and forth already. But I don't have either of those teams.
I think the key, especially if Michigan goes up against Tennessee in that game, I think the key is their bigs just have to stay out of foul trouble. They have to play Horford and Morgan. And they can't really. They're not deep at all, especially with McGarry out in that post position.
Yeah. So, and I think the winner of the Wichita State Louisville Sweet 16 game is going to get out of this bracket. I think Louisville's the only team that can beat. I don't think Duke or Michigan can beat Louisville or Wichita State. I think Louisville's the only team that can beat Wichita State in this bracket. But unfortunately, they have to play them.
As much as this hurts me to say, I really think that you're right. I think Michigan is. I think they're max going to get to the Elite Eight, maybe
lose to Louisville or Wichita State.
Yeah. And I think.
So you have Louisville getting.
I think Nick Stauskas is a stud. I think he's going to shine in this tournament. I think in at least a couple of games. But I don't see him carrying this team. Karis LeVert has been balling too. I have to mention him, but I just don't think that they're going to be able to match what Wichita State or Louisville can punch at them. I think it might be a different story with playing Kentucky if Kentucky makes it that far, but I don't know.
Well, if Kentucky makes it that far, they're the scariest team in the tournament. Because they have the most talent, and if they can start playing well enough to beat Wichita State and to beat Louisville in back-to-back games,
that's a very good point.
If they get to the Elite Eight, they might be my pick from that point to win it all. I mean, depending on the way they're playing. If they play well enough to beat Wichita State and Louisville, they are a scary freaking team.
I totally agree with that. If you have Kentucky making it that far, you should have Kentucky going pretty far.
Yeah. So right now I have Louisville playing Oklahoma State in the Final Four, and then Florida playing Michigan State. You have Louisville getting out of this right now?
I think I do. I think Louisville is they've been. I mean, if you watch them at all in that American tournament, they were blowing teams out, and there are some good teams there.
That American tournament flew by without even catching anybody's attention because Louisville just said, "Wait a minute, is anybody else in this?"
Was pounding teams. I mean, it was not even fair.
Just wait until they're in the
Russ
ACC
Smith is
next
scoring
year.
like nobody's business, and that is going to be.
Gosh. Unbelievable
that is for a whole nother video. We'll get into that a lot come next college basketball season. But yeah.
Anyway, Wichita State and Louisville are definitely the favorites.
Yeah,
Louisville got
agree.
gypped by their seed, but they didn't play anyone out of conference. So
yeah, that's what they're doing it on. So yeah, I think ultimately I have Louisville. Would not be surprised by Wichita State though.
Okay. There is our Midwest bracket. Make sure to catch all of our other ones, including the Southwest and East. Have a great night.
All right, guys.